Empower You podcast is devoted to bringing real-world wisdom and encouragement to our listeners. We discuss a multitude of life principles and the process from an economic, cultural, and societal perspective. We believe that through tough conversations and shared wisdom, we can pave the path and leave a ladder for the future. Subscribe to our channel and let us empower you. Welcome back to Empower You podcast. My name is Kibwe Cooper, and I am so glad that you are here today. I hope you're having a great day whenever it is that you're listening to this. I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, I really hope that by the end of this episode, you have a little bit more to think about. And I don't mean that in a crushing, pummeling type of way, but I think that by the end of this episode, you'll feel a sense of light at the end of whatever tunnel you may be in, if you're having a bad day. Today, it's just me, and I'll be doing a reflection on the thought exercise that was left with us by Albert Brownlee. The thought exercise was about finding and living your purpose on purpose. I'm going to play the thought exercise for you, and then we'll get into it, okay?
The thought exercise will probably be a little different today because it's actually going to be homework, and it's homework for you to do in your own time. But it's going to challenge you. And it's going to challenge you because there's this concept of this thing called purpose. And a lot of people say, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know how to find my purpose. I know I'm here for a reason. I know I'm supposed to do something, but I have no idea what my purpose is. Thought exercise is I want you to figure out what your purpose is. I want every listener to do that. And the first thing I want them to do is I want them to take a look, the same way we talked about being transparent. Look at your life. I want you to start first by looking at, what do I enjoy? There's a lot of things that we enjoy, and a lot of people say if you find something you enjoy, you'll find your purpose. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't agree with that your purpose may be the thing that you least enjoy. There's a lot of things I enjoy doing, you enjoy doing. We enjoy doing theater. Theater is not my purpose. And so, but chronicle a list of things I enjoy. Next, I want you to make a list of things that you don't enjoy. What will probably surprise you is that on the things that you don't enjoy, there will be things that you actually do well. But I just don't enjoy doing them. Maybe that's writing, maybe that's speaking, maybe that's cleaning. Maybe you're an excellent cleaner, but you're like, I hate cleaning up, but I'm really good at it. I clean better than most people around me, you know? And so make a list of things you don't enjoy. Next, what I want to challenge you to do is look at the things you enjoy doing. Look at the things that you don't enjoy doing. And I want you to mark off everything on both of those lists that you're not willing to die for. Because your purpose is the thing that you're willing to die for. And if you do that, because see, what did I just tell you? What I told you in short is make a list of both. Everything I like to do and everything I don't like doing. And then I want you one by one to look at each item And if it's something that I enjoy doing, but I'm not willing to die for it, I love theater. I love live theater. I can tell you right now, I'm not willing to die for live theater. There are people who will say, I would die for live theater.
Right. Wow.
And there may be something on your list that you don't enjoy doing. I don't enjoy writing. The practice of it is time consuming, but when I think about it, writing is so critical to something I'm doing. I would actually die for it. And so what happens after that? So when you end up with these things, when you see the things that you would die for, I'm telling you that is your purpose. We call Christ purpose, and if you don't know by now, I'm a Christian, so nothing against anybody who's not. But most of us have probably heard the saying, the passion of Christ. And a lot of times when we think about purpose, we think about it from the standpoint of passion, meaning compassion, the things that we love, the things, and that's why I said start with the things you like to do. But there's another side of passion. The other side of passion is the heart part. It's not the love. I am so passionate about something that it is a thing that at times can be very distasteful. But I'm passionate about it. It has great meaning to me. It's not a love. It is a burning. It's a yearning. And I'm so dedicated to it, I am willing to give up my own life for it. And that is when you will know your purpose. And what I'll tell you is then, and once you identify that, then begin to live that out. Yeah. And this is my concluding thought. There's a difference in having purpose around you, being in or near and around your purpose. There's a difference in just simply knowing your purpose. He said knowing is only half of the battle. So just knowing your purpose isn't good enough. Being in or around your purpose is not good enough. But what I want to challenge you and every listener to do from this day forward is to live in your purpose on purpose. When I am in my purpose, doing the thing I'm called to do on purpose, the difference is intentionality. Purpose can find me. It can land in my lap. But when I'm intentional about it, it becomes a different thing and it grows. And you will see the fruit of it. In 2020, probably for the first time in my life, I started living in my purpose on purpose.
Living in your purpose on purpose. I think that's really, really interesting. I think that's very difficult. So I did this thought exercise, and just as he said, there's a lot of things on my list of things I like a lot that in some iteration are also on the list of things that I don't like a lot, which is interesting because for myself, I noticed that the characteristics that I really am attached to, one of which is service and creativity, I would die for those things. I really would. I've already sacrificed a lot of my life and my personal space in the pursuit of my creativity, in my commitment to creating things that I believe matter for myself and for others. But it's that same desire to serve that, when abused, becomes the bane of my existence, you know? And I thought about that because I really enjoy the work that I do. I really enjoy the push. I enjoy trying to extend myself beyond what I believed were my limits in pertaining to the work that I do, my creativity, projects, podcasting, research, developing a business, getting systems in place. I enjoy that work. It's challenging, it's frustrating, but I enjoy it. It makes me feel more alive than many, many other things. And it's that ability to give of myself in those particular mediums that just really make a difference for me. But it's that same giving that brings me immense sadness. It is that same giving that gives me the most anxiety, because when you allow yourself to give, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to authentically give, when that space is violated or you feel as though it's not regarded as if it is coming from a great place, when you feel as though the effort that you bring into your job or anywhere else, your relationship, your organization, whatever it is not being taken seriously, is not being looked at as valuable, that same thing that you love doing can become the very thing that you hate doing. And so what I am realizing is just that I don't want to stop giving. I don't want to stop creating. I don't want to stop authentically showing up. What I have to learn how to do is to be very intentional about the way that I show up, where I show up, with what attitude and what mindset. Because the desire to give and to work and to sacrifice, these are not bad things. It's a good thing. You should sacrifice and work hard for the things that matter to you. And I'm gonna do that. But what I'm also going to do is be far more intentional about how that looks and in what space that takes place. Because I believe I'm meant to do what I'm doing. I believe that I am in my element, in my bag, as they say. Because this is what feels right to me. This is what feels most true, to be creating things that reach people, to be creating things that enable others and myself to have a voice beyond what maybe your circumstance or your environment would deem important or necessary. And that's what I do. That's what I try to do with Empower You podcast. That's what I do when I write poetry. That's what I do when I sing, when I perform in live theater or on screen. That's what I do when I speak with guests. I try to facilitate a space where they can truly be themselves and be seen. And in that space, they can give back to us. They can give and feed us. And I'm so grateful for that. And I don't ever want to lose it. And I am willing to suffer and die for it. Because that connection, that ability to experience something that is genuine and authentic. It is a pure exchange from one person to the other without any caveats or damage or, ulterior motive. And that's why I believe Empower You podcast is special. But that's why many of the things that other people do are really, really special, because they create those same spaces. And, I think it's great. So that's what I'm willing to suffer for. That's what I'm willing to die for, as was expressed in the thought exercise. And I hope you did the thought exercise. And I hope that this morning or this evening, whenever it is that you are listening to this, I hope you are thinking of things that you really love, things that you don't like, and all the in between, and sorting out what you're really willing to give of yourself for. And I challenge you to be very intentional about giving yourself and living in your purpose, on purpose. Yeah, that's where I'm at today. That's where I'm at. That thought exercise left me with a lot of interesting questions floating around in my head. And it was great. I'm really thankful for that. So, yeah. So I'm going to switch gears here a little bit, since we're talking about living in your purpose, on purpose. I kind of want to talk about where we are in the show. So Empower You podcast has completed its first series of conversations. The interview with Albert Brownlee was the conclusion of those conversations. And although there are still a few thought exercises I would love to make a reflection on, we have to transition now into something else, right? At least for me, I'm already thinking about the next series of conversations that we'll be having. And so I'm collecting interviews, and I am really moving forward because this is so meaningful to me, and I'm happy to be able to provide it. So the next series of conversations we're going to be having are going to be focused around building successful habits. Now, we all have our own definitions of success, and that's fine. But the reality is, we all have to go through some level of process, some level of transformation in order to reach that ideal state of being that we associate with success. And again, you can really attach whatever physical, emotional manifestations that seem truest to you, right? But either way, you're going to have to address things. You're going to have to become uncomfortable. You're going to have to focus on uncovering things that may be preventing you from moving forward. And building successful habits is a process. It's a journey. And what I want to do in 2021 is to help us uncover what that looks like, how to get there, what to watch out for, and to find the real root, the cause for many of our habits. And, people say how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And that's just saying that we have different things, whether it is damage, trauma, thoughts about yourself, ideas, whatever it is, we have things that happen in our subconscious and in our spirit that manifest themselves in the way that we live in the world. And I want to get to the bottom of it, because I believe that if we ask ourselves the right questions and if we stay focused on getting the answer, we can create a breakthrough in our lives that is unlike anything else that we have experienced. Growing up, it was very much defined for you the way you were supposed to react to certain things. It's very much an expectation that you respond a certain way. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But what I do know is that we have to develop our own sense of strength and identity, so that not only can we react appropriately, not only can we build appropriate habits, but we can build them for the right reason and in such a way that they are not damaging. And I really want to uncover what that process is like. And I have some really fantastic guests who I've already spoken to, who have written books and coached and taught many others how to work through their processes, how to work through trauma, how to work through these ideas that we create for ourselves, about ourselves, that are contingent upon your environment. Your environment can dictate many of your beliefs and habits. And even once you leave that environment, the internal constructs that environment could easily impart in you are things you have to wrestle with as you try to show up for yourself, as you try to show up for your family, as you try to achieve new things. And so in this next series, we're going to be talking about building successful habits. And the thought exercises will all be on empoweryoupodcast.com. So what I encourage you to do is go to empoweryoupodcast.com and just favorite that webpage, because while the podcast will be available and still absolutely free the way that it is right now, I want to start to build a community around these thought exercises. I want to try to dig into some of these thought exercises a little bit more in an environment where, if you're willing and if you really are seeking, you can start to engage with some of us who are making moves, who are changing our behaviors, who are addressing things, if you need that community, if you need that sense of stability and accountability, I want you to go to Empower You Podcast, and I want you to favorite that website, because that's where the thought exercises for this next series are going to be. They're still, again, free, because it's very important that we have access. And I believe that's very near and dear to me. I grew up without much access, and so I don't want to shut anybody out. But I will be creating a community where we can really, really be very intentional about what we do and how we exercise these thought exercises. And I'm looking forward to bringing people who are really serious into that community. But even if you are just watching or listening, rather, and you just want the entire full episode, they will all be available on empoweryoupodcast.com. So I want you to go in, and I want you to go ahead and favorite that page. The next thing I want to talk about in regards to the show is how you can support the show. Now, I'm not going to go on and on about the process of creating podcasts, the expense of creating things that you want to give to the world. We all suffer for something, and that's fine. But if you want to support the podcast, you can do all of those things through empoweryoupodcast.com. You can donate, you can buy merchandise. There's some really great merchandise on there. And you can also leave a review on whatever device or platform you're listening to this. In fact, I want you to take out your phone right now, and I want you to leave a review. And I want you to just say, I need this. I appreciate this. I see you. And I'm saying all of this not because, Empower You Podcast is going to go away if you don't do it. I'm saying this because as we grow and develop, we have to learn how to leave seeds. And by doing so, we can create more awareness that then leaves more of a ladder for other people to find and engage with the podcast and engage with the content, the community that we're creating here. And so I'm really thankful so much for the growth that this podcast has created. I had someone reach out to me and they said, I'm really afraid to talk about this new idea I have. I'm really worried. It's giving me anxiety, but I have this idea and I don't know what to do with it. And they said, I listened to your podcast about putting a date on your goals, and it really found me. Now, me, I'm loving hearing all of this, and I'm just saying, how can I help? Absolutely. Let's talk about it. This person, this listener, lives in the area that I live in. And I said, let's meet up. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. And so we're in the process of getting together so that we can start vetting out these ideas. And I say that all to say that without the intentional, purposeful places that we provide, it's going to be difficult for some of us to get unstuck. And as someone who hates being stuck, I always want to provide a ladder for someone to get out of the situation emotionally, mentally, physically, economically that they're in. And so I'm asking you to go leave a review. Go share the podcast with someone, because it's our duty to keep giving goodness. That's how we continue to sow and then reap positive things. And so go leave a review. Go leave a review. I want you to favorite empoweryoupodcast.com and leave a review. Another thing that we'll be doing moving forward with Empower You Podcast is I will be giving tips, really. I will be giving all of the information that I know, all of the skills that I've gained. I'll be giving tips, advice on how to create your own platform with podcasting. Now, I teach and I help and I coach and all that, but I just will be on here giving out advice based off of my experience, based off of what I know about the industry, based off of my technical knowledge on how to successfully produce and create podcasts and platforms around podcasts. And I really want you to, if you're interested in podcasting at all, there will be episodes just for that. And they will be in addition to our program, our series of conversations about building successful habits. It's going to be really, really great. I can't wait. I've been thinking a lot about this stuff, doing a lot of writing, doing a lot of searching for ways to create as much impact as I can. Because not only are we creating a space where people can feel seen and create change in their own lives, but I want to leave the blueprint. I want to leave steps, actionable items that anybody who's looking to also create a space, also fill a void, also create something important, I want to leave a resource for you to be able to do it. And I'm going to do it with this podcast. So you're going to hear fantastic conversations. And then you're also going to hear me telling you things about the industry and about why, if you're listening out there and you have a message, you should create a podcast and build a community around that message and impact others, because each one can reach one. And if we all do our part, we can create massive change in our society, in our environment, in our own lives. And I want to see you do it. I believe that you can do it. And so I want you to engage with your community, with my community, and let's do things in 2021. Let's not be afraid. Let's step out there on faith, on energy, on good intent. Let's use easy to execute principles, steps, tips, exercises that massively change our lives. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And I want to help anybody else I can do that as well. And so that's what you're going to be hearing on Empower You Podcast. And again, engage with our community. You can go to the group, the Empower You Podcast page on Facebook. Go ahead and like and follow the page. Introduce yourself. Jump on there and say, hey, I would love to hear from you. I'm also on Instagram. Go to the Instagram. Pull out your phone. Search Empower You Podcast on Instagram. And follow the page. Introduce yourself. Jump on the last picture and say, I'm here. Because what we're doing is creating something that we can all reap the benefits from. Now, there's so much going on in the world. We just had an administration change. Everybody's on pins and needles about that. Some people are really excited. Other people are really upset. But what I know is that no matter what happens, we are responsible for the environments directly around us. And if we don't live in our purpose on purpose, we can't expect anyone else to provide for us, with us, on our behalf, something that we will not take the initiative to produce ourselves, which is goodness, kindness, fairness, equity, equality, justice, concern, compassion, empathy, bravery, leadership, vulnerability. These are the things that create amazing leaders and communities. These are the things that make possible the wildest dreams that we have for this society in which people care. It starts with us. We create the environment that we then expect our leaders to uphold, and we do so by being intentional. And so I want you to share this community. I want you to share the podcast, and I want you to go and follow one of the pages. Let me know you're here. I would love to interact with you every week. I'm loving this community that we're building. I'm loving the Empower You podcast eco space. I love it. I love it because everyone who's there is there being genuine, who's there with the right intentions. They're not there to just take up space. And so that's part of my commitment to live in my purpose on purpose, intentionally. And that thought exercise really just made me feel heavy. And I felt determined to make this work, determined to continue to give and produce more. And I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to do it and that you're listening. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. The new series of Empower You podcast is on its way. There's going to still be episodes every single week, and I'm looking forward to creating special things and to continue to serve as much as I can. So I want you all to go to Empower You Podcast on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever platforms that you're on, wherever you're listening to this. Give it 5 stars or a review, and let me know, because I check things and I want to make sure that I am providing for you what you need. So you let me know what you need and what you're wanting from the show. Maybe there's some topics I haven't talked about. Maybe there's something that you just are burning and want to say. Maybe you want to come on and we can have a discussion. You can send all of those messages through any of the social media platforms, or you can just email me directly at empoweryupodcast@gmail.com. That is the website for the show. So you let me know how I can help you. You let me know how I can serve you, because that's in my heart to do, and I want to do it. So I really appreciate you all for listening, and I thank you for your compassion and for your bravery and for your determination to make yourself better, and in so doing, create a better space around you. I think that's such a brave thing to do. There's so many of us who are just stuck in the status quo, and we can't see a way out of it. And that's not the case here with Empower You Podcast. And I'm blessed because of that. So I want you to go to empoweryupodcast.com. You can support the show, or you can just make sure that you have that website saved so that you can get the thought exercises in the future. I will also be giving practical, easy to execute tips and industry news about podcasting and how we can use this platform to create more conscious content. And I will be starting and continuing to build really a community where people can be accountable, a community around these thought exercises so that we can really continue to show up for each other and to create the progress, the change that we want to see in ourselves so that we can show up in the world the way that we want to and leave a ladder for the future. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to share, like, all the things. You're awesome. I believe in you, and I hope you have a fantastic day. I will talk to you really soon. Peace. Empower You podcast is devoted to bringing real-world wisdom and encouragement to our listeners. We discuss a multitude of life principles and the process from an economic, cultural, and societal perspective. We believe that through tough conversations and shared wisdom, we can pave the path and leave a ladder for the future. Subscribe to our channel and let us empower you.